Hey, hello, you guys. This is Madam 81, and I am coming back to you guys again. This time, this article is from Cincinnati.com. This is basically about an Ohio doctor that pleads not guilty to murder charges for 25 painkiller overdose deaths. And I'm going to read you the article about this story. This is the gentleman in question. His name is William Hessel, and he was a doctor or is a doctor, and he's facing jail time for 25 individuals that died for painkiller overdoses. The article says, well, it starts off, it says, former critical care doctor William Hassel, center, he's in the center, pleads not guilty to murder charges in the deaths of 25 hospital patients while appearing with defense attorney Richard Blake on the right in Franklin County Court on Wednesday, June 5th, 2019, in Columbus, Ohio. Hassel denies allegations that he ordered overdoses of painkillers for patients to hasten their deaths. The photo is provided by AP slash Quintel Franco, and the article is written by Jesse Belmert. I apologize if I butchered the last name. An article goes on to say, Columbus. A Columbus doctor accused of repeatedly prescribing excessive doses of painkillers to critical care patients now facing 25 counts of murder. Prosecutors say former Mount Carmel Dr. William S. Hessel, age 43, either caused or hastened the deaths of dozens of patients by ordering excessive doses of fentanyl. Hassel turned himself in to the police on Wednesday and later pled not guilty to all charges. A typical dose of a potent painkiller is between 25 to 100 milligrams. Hassel's patients were giving doses ranging from 500 milligrams to 2,000 milligrams. Oh, that's a lot. One of those patients was Beverly Ann Schwarzenegger, who was brought to Mount Carmel in October 2017. The 63-year-old Grove City woman was dizzy, had chest pains, and shortness of breath. The hospital performed a liver biopsy. Schwarzenegger's condition worsened over the next several days, and ultimately her family withdrew care, according to the lawsuit filed by the family against Hessel and Mount Carmel. On October 9th, 2017, Hassel ordered 500 milligrams of fentanyl and 4 grams of a sedative, Mendozam, which a nurse administered after overriding the hospital's medication dispensing cabinet called Plexus. 10 minutes later, Schwarzenegger was pronounced dead. Schwarzenegger died just hours after Hassel ordered the same dose to a 55-year-old Timothy Fitzpatrick, accelerating his death, according to another lawsuit filed against Hassel. Schwarzenegger and Fitzpatrick are two victims named in the 25-count criminal indictment filed against Hassel Wednesday, detailing deaths between February 2015 and November 2018. If convicted, Hassel faces 15 years to life for each count. Ooh, that's a damn Betty. Hassel pleads not guilty to all charges in Franklin County Common Pleas Court. The magistrate, Jennifer Codell, set a $1 million bond. Hassel's attorney, Richard Blake, called his client's actions comfort care. The patients that we were talking about are end-of-life patients. The people were being kept alive primarily primarily due to the equipment in the hospital, Blake told reporters. They were going to die whether Dr. Hassel was on or whether another doctor was. But Columbus Police Chief Tom Quinlan said Hassel's actions were not compassionate. The breach of a doctor's oath is vital, Quinlan said during the Wednesday news conference. It says the criminal investigation, and this is a better picture of Mr. William Hassel that they took. And the article goes on to say, Hassel fired late December after working for the Columbus Hospital since 2013. Shortly after Christmas, hospital officials contacted relatives and told them that Hassel's over-prescribing had led to their family's death. So they did an investigation of their own and contacted the families. Okay. Alleged victims range from 35 years old to 85 years old, and the conditions that brought them to Mount Carmel, including trouble breathing or cancer diagnosis. In many instances, relatives had given permission not to resuscitate their family members. A slew of lawsuits ensued against Hassel. The hospital and staff Hassel's medical license was suspended. A criminal investigation was launched. At least 30 nurses were placed on leave. Oof. Columbus police and prosecutors chose to focus on deaths where 500 milligrams of fentanyl or more were administered. Several families have filed lawsuits after their relatives were given 200 milligrams of fentanyl or another drug. Franklin County Prosecutor Ron O'Brien said the nurses and pharmacists who administered or approved the drugs will not face criminal charges. Victims named in the indictment include Emma Bogan, age 75, Jan Thomas, age 65, Norma Wrench, age 85, Joanne Balsari, age 69, Ryan Hayes, age 39, Timothy Fitzpatrick, age 55, Bowlise Schwarzenegger, age 63, Michael Waters, age 57, Robert Lee Thompson Matthews, Danny Motlett, Larry Bringer, age 70, and the list goes on and on with people. A toxic environment. Lawsuits allege several complaints were filed against Hassel before he was eventually removed from his position. Attorney Getty Linsberg and Ann Valentine, who are representing 17 families, say the culture at Mount Carmel allowed Hassel to prescribe these excessive doses without getting caught for years. Clearly, there was some kind of environment that was toxic, that did not allow for the free flow of information and the raising of concern and having those concerns properly addressed, Linsberg said. Mount Carmel CEO Ed Lamb, in a video statement, apologized for the tragedy. We take responsibility for the fact that the process and the place were not sufficient to prevent these actions from happening. Lamb in a statement Wednesday said Mount Carmel had made meaningful changes throughout our system to ensure events like this would never happen again. Okay. On the right, that is Amy Piff. I apologize for butchering her name. And her attorney, Gary Linsberg, discussed the murder charges brought against William Hassel, the doctor accused of deliberately ordering painkiller overdoses For Viv's mother and 24 other hospital patients who died during the news conference Wednesday, June 5th, 2019, in Columbus, Ohio. And that is that photo. The article continues. Families faced with the decision to withdraw medical care from critically ill relatives can do little but trust Hustle in Mount Carmel to administer the proper care, Attorney Lindsberg said. It is really frightening. It is a frightening prospect that this can happen, he said. But I really don't think that any of these family members should question themselves about not having done enough to protect their family members. It's just not their responsibility, Schwarzenegger's daughter, Amy Piff, said that her mother was the most caring, loving person. If Schwarzenegger heard the story on the local news, she would have been crying in her Grove City living room. That's why Piff filed the lawsuit. That's why Piff was answering questions from a room full of reporters just hours after her mother alleged killer was charged. Piff told reporters, "I feel like she's cheering me on." And that is the end of the article. Wow. This is like crazy. But as I always say, this happens not just at Mount Carmel Hospital. This has happened at countless other hospitals. When you have a family member that is critically ill, anybody that has ever had a family that is critically ill, you are familiar with this process. You want to keep them alive, and despite the best efforts, things just don't turn out that way. A lot of patients do not resuscitate. So DNRs and things of that nature. This is, just a terrible thing, to have. But some people, personally, from my experience, my aunt, she was a 3-time cancer survivor. When she ascended, cancer had literally taken over almost every part of her body. She was on a constant morphine drip. She had home nursing care and things of that nature. And she had just gotten to the point where, she was satisfied in her life and how her life turned out. And she did not want to be resuscitated. She wanted to actually go home to live out her final days. And that's exactly what she did. There was a DNR, and she went peacefully. She was ready. She was ready to go, and that was just my personal experience with having a critically ill patient in my family, 3-time cancer survivor. She was strong, she was one of the pieces of glue that held the family together. My Aunt Helen, she was an amazing woman when she was here, and she has ascended, so she's at peace. But for the patients, it seems like they really didn't have a choice. In my opinion, they didn't have a choice to be able to determine. They put their hope and faith, like many of us do, into the medical professional that is attending to our family and loved ones, for them to make the right decision. and, you know, excessive amounts of fentanyl and other drugs. Um, it's just ridiculous. Um, I am aware that every hospital has a policy in regards to um, the dosage and pain management and things of that nature. Anybody that is a nurse, you know full well of the procedure where you work at. My sister is a nurse as well, so you know it's certain guidelines and bylaws that you have to go by as far as, you know, pain management. I'm just surprised that none of the nurses actually, you know, was like, hey, wait a minute, this is excessive, you know. um you know, maybe I need to report him myself or say something myself. But hey, you know, in a lot of cases, people that's employed in those type of fields, or similar fields, or you know, even different fields, they tend to, you know, just do what they're told. Um, but hey, they're not being charged with anything. The only one that's being charged is William Hustle, and he was the one who actually said, "Hey, you know, give them that 500 milligrams of fentanyl and whatever drug, you know." And you know, these were just people. You know, just because they were at the end of their life does not mean that they did not need to be treated with the same love and care and urgent care that they needed to continue on. Um, you know, so I mean, it was a case a couple of years ago about another doctor. They called him Dr. Death, and I cannot remember his name, but that was his nickname. His name was Dr. Death. And but in that case, it was more so that the patients were asking them to help him terminate their lives. And it was a big court case about it. It was really, you know, it hit major news, and it was just a whole blow up and stuff like that. So, but this is different. In this case, the investigation is still pending, so I am not going to speculate any further about whether the patients wanted it or whatever the case may be. I'm going to follow the story just like everyone else and to give you updates if I hear anything. But as always, please like, subscribe, and share. Please drop down in the comments. Let me know, what do you think about Mr. William Hustle and, you know, his reckless behavior that he displayed for these patients, regardless if they were, you know, end of life or, you know, critically ill, whatever the case is. So I am Madam 81. I thank you all for watching this video. As always, until next time, guys, I will see you and talk to you later. Take care.